Hey guys, Joe Marler from Daniel Defense, and we're going to show you guys how to install a RISII M4A1 FSP handguard. The RISII M4A1 FSP is designed to work on a carbine length gas system with a front sight base. If you have a front sight base with a bayonet lug, it will work. However, if you have a sling swivel that's riveted to the bottom of your front sight base, you're going to have to drift that out before begin your installation. Okay, just like the RISII M4A1, we're going to start by installing our bolt-up plate and barrel nut. Bolt-up plate's going to have a counter bore on the front side, has a couple alignment tabs on the back. These alignment tabs are going to slide right underneath the Picatinny rail of your upper receiver, so that counter bore is going to be facing forward. We'll grab our barrel nut, slide it over our barrel. We're going to thread it on hand tight. We're going to grab our bolt-up system barrel nut wrench that comes with your handguard, and we're going to attach it to a 1/2-inch drive torque wrench. We're going to make sure that torque wrench is set to 55 foot-pounds. Slide the wrench into the notches of the barrel nut. We're going to pull down slowly until we get an audible click, indicating that our barrel nut's torqued. Just like with all of our bolt-up system handguards, RIS2s, DDM4 rails, slim rails, MFR rails, once that barrel nut has been tightened, that bolt-up plate is going to remain loose until you slide the rail system on and bolt it up. So with the RIS2 M4A1 FSP, assembly is a little bit different than the M4A1 because we have to get that front sight base positioned in the cutout of the handguard. You'll see that we have a nice generous pocket here for our front sight base, and we already have our front sight base and gas tube assembly assembled. So you can see we do not have our lower rail on at this point. We're going to bring the gas tube in, insert it through the back so that our front sight base is in position. And we're going to take this entire assembly, we're going to slide it onto the barrel all at the same time. Okay, just like that. So once we have that step done, now we need to go to the bench and we need to install our taper pins prior to fastening up the rail system to the upper. Now that we have our upper receiver group on our workbench, we're going to support the upper receiver with our vise block. And I'm going to support the front of the barrel as much as I can with our front sight base block. Okay, I've got the ejection port cover up, so I'm in fact inserting these taper pins from right to left. I'm going to get both of them in position. You'll see we've got some movement in the handguards because we haven't tightened it up yet. That's really important so that you can access your taper pin holes. Once we've got them seated by hand, then we can grab our hammer and our punch, give them a few solid hits on each taper pin to make sure they're fully seated. Front sight base is nice and tight. Now we can move on to the next step of tightening up the bolt-up system with our bolt-up system barrel nut screws. All right, now that we have our upper receiver secured in our vise with our Picatinny rail alignment tool, we're going to start installing the fasteners. Just like on the M4A1 and the Mark 18, you have 4 7/8 screws that go in on the sides and on the top from the receiver towards the barrel. And you have 2 shorter screws. These are 3/4 of an inch screws. These are going to insert on the bottom, and they're going to go in from the barrel towards the receiver. Use your 5/32 ball end wrench to get all of them started. And again, if you have a drill motor that has a 5/32 ball end, you can use that to speed up the process. We're going to tighten them down in a crisscross pattern. Once I've got them all run in by hand with the drill, I'll give them a bump with the short arm of the 5/32 Allen wrench that comes with the handguard. Once we have all 6 bolts installed and tightened, then we can move on to installing our lower rail. All right, so now that we have the main portion of the RIS2 installed on our upper, we're going to move forward with installing the lower rail. You'll notice that you have a relief cut on the bottom here to accommodate a bayonet lug on a standard A2 style front sight base. You can't put this on backwards, so we're going to install this now. Once you have it in position, you can grab your 4 fasteners, 4 slotted screws, make sure the washers are on there. Just get them in position. Grab your screwdriver, preferably something that's hollow ground. Grab your gunsmithing screwdriver and your fasteners. Tighten down your fasteners by hand. These screws are threaded into a self-locking helicoil insert, so you do not need to put Loctite on these. They will stay put. And that's all it takes. Okay, just a few minutes of work with the right tools. You can get this done in about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, I can look down my receiver and my rail system. I can see that everything's nice and straight and plumb. Front sight base is perfectly centered. Lower rail's nice and tight. After this, all I have to do, install my muzzle device, insert my bolt carrier group and charging handle, put it back on my lower, and we're ready to go to the range.